Welcome to Sled Talk, where we love talking all things snowmobile. I'm Rob Reed.
I'm Steve Glass.
And we're talking snowmobiling. From pulling the cord to pulling your hair out, there's lots to discuss. We want to thank Performance Supply for their support. If you have a chance, check out the Facebook page.
Sure.
Steve, we got lots to talk about today. Whole lot of things that have happened over the last little while. There's a vintage snowmobile derby coming up, I guess, this weekend. Can you tell us much about it?
If I was prepared, I could.
Okay, all right. Tell us all about it.
Found it.
All right, let's hear about this vintage derby that's coming up this weekend, March 22nd.
The Herod Vintage Snowmobile Derby.
Right.
On St. Patrick's Day Dance.
Okay.
Right on. Registration 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Horrid Hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
In?
I'm thinking in Horde or Herod. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I should Google this.
Too late now.
Okay. Does it say where by any chance? It must be there. Herod Hall.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So anyone out within driving distance of Herod Hall who wants to do a vintage derby, that's going on this weekend. Enjoy. Vintage derbies are awesome.
Yeah, I think it's about an hour and a half from Winnipeg. I really wanted to go, but no snow. It's
Yeah.
a little too far away.
I get it.
Next year, we're going to do a few.
Yeah. So one of the other things I want to talk about was, I was out riding a couple of weeks ago with a good friend of ours and, of course, my daughter. And we're zipping down the Red River, and we get to about Chesley's Point. Everyone in Manitoba will know where that is if you've been on the Red River at all. And the Amphibex was working away out there. Actually, there's 3 of them now. I don't know who knows what an Amphibex is or why it's there. Steve, can you enlighten us at all on these?
I just know it's for an icebreaker for breaking up the ice to stop ice jams on the river.
100% correct,
And
yeah.
once they start busting up that ice, you should stay away from that area.
Absolutely.
I've never seen one working except for on videos. They're kind of cool machines, big arms, busting up the ice in front of them.
Yeah, you're right. And it's exactly for that, to prevent flooding all the way back through, from the mouth of the Red River, essentially, right through to Winnipeg. And then I know it saved, the city's butt a few times. Those things work great. But as a snowmobiler, or even an ice fisherman that's on the Red River, I know there's lots of warnings out there. They're putting up signage. Stay away from it. The last thing you need to do is get into some broken ice and end up on the bottom of the river. That's just not nearly as much fun as it sounds.
Done that.
Yeah, I know. I was there. The other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit is just kind of a update that I've seen on Arctic.
Right.
Do you want me to get into a little bit of, I'll say, the mergers and acquisitions process?
Sure, because it's a whole bunch of rumors right now.
Yeah, there are a ton of rumors going on. So what I saw was Arctic is accepting bids. What that means is they've got 4 or 5, I'm guessing, credible companies that can come in and make legitimate bids on that. So the first thing that happens, of course, is they all sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. These are legal binding documents that say we will not talk about what's going on. And then from there, each of these companies gets an opportunity to come into Arctic, go through the factory, go through the books that Arctic chooses to provide at the time. And once they've gathered all information, they go back and put in a bid. From there, Arctic reviews all the bids and says, we like number 3 the best. And so with number 3, then they send them an LOI, which is a letter of intent, meaning that we are only going to dance with you. They get in touch with the other people and say, thank you for coming out. We appreciate your time, but we have decided to move forward with this particular bid. So from there, the new company comes in and does, I'll say, more of a really forensic audit, a real, they go in and they go up here, with a microscope, and they make sure that they have seen everything, the books, very thoroughly at this point. They look at the processes, they look at the parts, they look at absolutely everything, and then they put in a very firm price, something that both teams can really talk about. Then Arctic takes a look at that price and goes, we like this, we don't like that. There's a little bit of negotiation going back and forth, and they either decide to proceed with that bid and say, you know what, okay, we've got a deal, they shake hands, or they say, we just can't get together on this, and they may go back to one of the original other remaining 4 and have that conversation, Steve. But normally I'm going to say they probably get to the finish line with this company. Again, everyone is still under non-disclosure agreements.
So everything's rumors.
Yeah, anything that we hear is rumors. Anything that's going on in the inside very legally stays on the inside for very obvious reasons. So you and I as consumers, or anyone that's out there on the internet, really doesn't have a clue what's going on.
But they see a picture of a snowmobile with CF Moto on it, and suddenly they're buying it.
Right, yeah, exactly. So the rumors are abound. I'm going to guarantee you that nobody on the inside is talking about what's truly going on until there is an announcement to make, and they will control what those announcements are. So if we don't hear something specifically from Arctic Cat or
New owners.
Or a new owner who is speaking on behalf of, it's all rumor until it is done, and there will be no leaks. So we can speculate till the cows come home. Fact is, we legally will not hear anything because they're not going to talk about it.
So everybody who was worked up about there being nothing said in the first week or 2.
Yeah, guess what? It's going on.
Right.
There's stuff happening in the background, but this could truly take months. I know what I'm talking about. I've bought and sold a number of companies over the years. I've been asked to be on an M&A podcast with Catchfire, is a company that does that kind of work. So I'm going to be doing that over the next few weeks and talk about my experiences with M&A. And like I say, just kind of a process so people understand that there are things happening. It's just we are not allowed to know what it is.
So I'm going to quit ignoring all the rumors that I read every single day and telling people that I've heard that so-and-so's buying it or so-and-so's buying it or it's sold, and we're going to hear something on Monday. And
100%.
Sit back and wait for a decision.
That's all we're going to get.
Okay.
That's all we're truly going to get, because anything else is speculation. And I get it. It's great to chat and it's great to talk about what's happening, and people are excited. And honestly, I'm excited because I don't want Arctic Cat to go away.
Far too popular, and they've got the most diehard riders.
Fans, yeah, absolutely. You know, and we've talked about this.
And who would we pick on?
Yeah, 100%. Who would we pick on? And but beyond that, I mean, we need to have another major manufacturer.
Yeah.
Someone credible out there that can really, again, add some diversity to the options that are available.
Especially with Yamaha gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad.
So we'll see what happens. Anyways, that's kind of the update on what I know and the understanding that I have through my experiences with mergers and acquisitions. So Arctic Cat's in process, everybody. Hold tight. We are going to see something. We're going to hear something. It's going to be interesting when it comes.
Probably good news that we haven't heard anything quick, like we're just shut down, we're bankrupt, or something like that. Like, obviously there are things in the works.
No, to me, I took that as 100% positive because they are working on something. It is happening. It just takes time.
Right.
And again, patience. So I know we've been a few weeks away from doing our podcasts, and there's been a number of reasons. One of them was I was happily on vacation. I was sitting there with a drink in my hand, had my toes in the sand, and all I really needed was a topic. Understand? Mm-hmm. And as I was sitting there, I get a text from you.
Right.
And it was on Ski-Doo's new electric sleds.
Oh, is this when you were like in
Hawaii. In Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, right.
So here I am thinking about the podcast and things that we're doing while I'm supposed to be, enjoying a drink and some sand.
Right.
Of course, the squirrel never stops running, right? Yeah. So anyways, what you'd sent me was that Arctic Cat, Ski-Doo, has launched an electric sled, Ski-Doo Grand Touring.
They have 2 models.
2 models.
Yeah, I can't remember what the other one was. Yeah.
What I took from it is that it had about a 50-kilometer range at about 25 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you that e-sleds sit in my world similar to where e-vehicles sit. Mm-hmm. I really don't have a lot of desire for one.
No.
Let's put it that way.
But I want to try one.
Okay.
I'm not going to bash them until I try one.
Yeah.
Just like, a curiosity of what would it be like to ride one of these machines.
For sure.
I mean, that kind of range and top speed's not any good for anything other than a resort or something.
Well, and the way I understand it, you look at parks, and I'll use Yellowstone as an example, where they're very concerned about the environment and what's going on. I mean, I understand there's a place
keep
for
gas
them.
motors running and stuff like that.
And so I can see this for rental fleet. So, but I looked at that sled. I got to say, I was not impressed with, like I say, range or speed.
And it was a $20,000 snowmobile.
Yeah. But one of the things I love about doing this show, Steve, is we get that opportunity to kind of dig a little deeper and see what else is out there. I mean, like I say, you and I have been doing this forever, but sometimes we don't always keep up with the new stuff. And this was an opportunity to dig into it. So I said, what's out there for new electric sleds? Turns out there's Tega.
Yeah.
And they have been out there since 2015. In 2024, they were a Canadian-made sled. But they sold to Wilkinson out of the UK.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you know what, Tega's still out there, and they're still building them. And it sounds like Wilkinson really loved Tega's technology, but they had some ideas of where they could take it from there. Now, there's a sled that had about a 60 to 80 mile range at around 60 to 70 miles an hour. So, you know, again, this became, compared to the Ski-Doo, a far superior electric sled.
I saw reviews on those machines done, and they were actually kind of impressive. Really good acceleration, a couple of different modes, I believe, for battery life and stuff. And they said in the trails they were a lot of fun. That's the one I really want to try because it has the speed and the range, right?
Yeah,
just
for
to
sure.
try one.
Just curiosity more than anything else.
You know, I probably won't own one either, but
Yeah. And there's a third one out there, Aurora E-Sleds. They are made in Finland.
never even heard of that one.
Yeah, so there you go. They are what they call an X-skeleton. Looks kind of like a grasshopper, to be honest with you. But again, they've got a 60-mile range at around 60 miles an hour.
That's like what our old sleds used to do.
Yeah, and top speed of about 105 kilometers an hour. And we always have to keep in mind that this is important. Your battery life is totally dependent on temperature, how fast you're riding it, how hard are you pushing it, are you going through deep snow, are you staying on a trail? Like everything comes into play. So battery life is subjective at best, but it's interesting that they are out there.
Yeah.
There's e-sleds available, and you know, if people are interested in looking a little deeper into them, I'm going to say if you're just a weekend ice fisherman,
Yeah, that'd be fantastic for that.
they might be perfect for that. You know, and again,
Might
no
be a good
engines to rebuild.
Family sled, like we were talking about, there not being a lot of family sleds where you're not putting on a lot of miles, but you're taking on the family. You don't want to worry about trying to get something started.
But I'm going to tell you this, they aren't cheap either.
No.
No, they are up there.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do a show on that because I've done a little digging. I don't want to get into it really too deeply right now. But I think we need to start looking at what is truly being offered because we keep talking about how sleds are over $20,000 Canadian. And I've seen some stuff out there that is cheaper. So we need to start really, I'm going to say, giving it an honest look at. But let's not talk about that too much today.
Can we for a second?
If you would like.
My cousin just bought a brand new Renegade, and I believe it came in around $16,000 for everything.
Okay.
You know? Just a 600A smaller motor. But I was actually kind of shocked that a Renegade was available in that price range. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
it's not bad at all, really.
No, for
Because
sure.
I keep thinking of the $20,000 snowmobiles too.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't want to be, I'll say, painting the wrong picture. So in a future show, I'd like to, you know, pull up some models and see what is out there because you're right.
Let's do a price from the bottom to the top.
Yep.
For the different manufacturers.
Exactly. So, like I say, that's what I have today on electric sleds.
Yep.
And just an interesting topic. You know, Steve, we often get into the vintage stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're going to kind of, I'll say, forego that a little bit today because you wanted to talk about trailer maintenance.
Absolutely.
So I'll tell you what, between you and I and the fact that we've been riding snowmobiles since we were kids, basically old enough to drive, you know, we were talking about this earlier. And the early days for us, we had some real pieces of crap. I hate to say they were 8 foot by 8 foot. Homemade, you know, 8-inch tires, corrugated steel.
No lights working. Hey, I remember when you got pulled over by the police coming home from a snowmobile trip.
Yep.
With no lights on.
No lights working. Yeah, we had quite a, you know, an opportunity to practice my getting out of a ticket skills.
Yeah, exactly.
And often in the wintertime, I was also buying like a $500 truck because those sleds were light. We'd go for a ride and we just, 2 or 3 of us would grab it, throw it in the back of the truck afterwards, so I wouldn't have to have a trailer. The truck needed to make it 3 months.
To the wreck.
That's it.
Yeah.
3 months. And once it was done, it went off to the wrecker or wherever. I just got rid of it. And next winter I did rinse and repeat. And then it got to the point where we needed trailers. But
I can remember heading out for a poker derby one day with one of your old trucks.
yeah,
And we thought we were going to die. We were driving so far to get to this poker derby.
yeah.
And then I realized years later that it was just up the road from my house. And we were only 15 minutes past the perimeter.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I said, we had some scary moments with some of that old junk, and you know, so to this day, we're still using trailers because they've just gotten too heavy. There's no picking a snowmobile up anymore and throwing it in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. You know, I don't care if you're 20. They're just too heavy. So, you know, we've gone through some of those really pieces of crap trailers to some of the aluminum ones. I ended up with a really nice double axle enclosed trailer that I just sold earlier this year. And
I'm in the market.
yeah, you know, you had a really nice aluminum with the salt front on it. And so...
Good maintenance. Good maintenance.
there we go. So what do you want to tell us about maintenance, Steve?
Well, I always go on about maintaining your snowmobile and spring tune-ups and things. Or fall tune-ups, sorry.
Okay.
How many times have I got that wrong?
I don't know. Like I put a quarter in a jar.
Trailer maintenance.
Right, trailer maintenance. So what should people be doing?
Oh, at least, I mean, my experience with my trailer breaking in half a few weeks ago and leaving my 2 snowmobiles and trailer stranded an hour and a half from home on the highway for an entire day led me to go, I'm going to do a little more maintenance on these things. Crawl underneath in the fall. Have a look. Mind the frame broke. But I'm sure it didn't break on this one ride. I'm sure it must have been half broken. Cracking. Something I might have very likely would have seen.
Yeah.
So have a good look at the frame. Make sure everything's solid. Good tires. Good bearings.
Bolts?
Bolts?
Yeah, like, the bolts that are holding your...
Take the lug nuts off once in a while and clean them up and put some never sees on them or something. When my deck broke and it took up my tire, that was the first time I'd had to change a tire. I found out I didn't have a lug wrench to fit my tires.
Okay.
Even if I did, you're not getting a trailer tire off with a lug wrench because you can't hold the tire when it's blown up
Right.
and shredded. So some nice guy went and got an electric impact, which I'm going to start carrying in my truck. An electric impact that is good, has a socket for my truck and my trailer. And then after we got the tire off, I realized I had no spares because I carry them in the back of my truck and we'd removed them for some reason. So I'm mounting a spare tire on my trailer where I can see it and it's going to be there forever.
Okay.
And the jacks that come in vehicles are kind of crappy.
They are 100% crappy.
But they'll do the job if you have to. So, but I'm not going on the highway anymore without an electric impact so that I can change the tire, make sure my spares are there. Have 2 spares, because if you blow a tire on the way to someplace, it'd be nice to have a spare for the way home too.
Yeah.
And have a good look under that trailer and make sure it ain't falling apart.
Okay, so a couple of things that come from this. I'm with you. I'm not going to go as far as you with the electric impact, but on my new trailer, I mounted a crossbar in there. So I can change, get under there, at least do that. I also carry a bottle jack with me because I agree with you. The vehicle jacks are crappy and getting them out, getting them back in. Or just put a bottle jack in there.
I didn't even know I had a jack in my truck. I'd never used it before.
Right.
Fortunately, I did have a jack in my truck, just not the right tire iron.
So another thing to think about, with boat trailers, they're in and out of the water all the time. So the bearings take a beating, seals get wrecked, they rust up. So we don't quite see the same problems with snowmobile trailers, but don't think that the rust and salt and other stuff isn't getting in there.
Yeah.
And so you should be doing what, annually?
I think annually at least. Just even if you're not mechanical, just spin the wheels and make sure they're not growly and bad. But if you can pop the caps off and re-grease them, go for it.
Yeah, but what about the bolts at the tilt points and things like that?
Yeah. Remember we had a tongue break off a trailer?
Yeah, 100%.
And send 2 of our sleds sailing into the ditch?
Yeah, I do remember that. And
so that was a good one. Yeah, check your bolts on your tilt and stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Anything that could move or
break
or unbolt
or rust through
Rust
or
through,
corrode
yeah.
through.
I mean, my aluminum trailer, I never dreamed it was going to break in half.
Yeah,
But both main rails broke.
that's just terrible.
Took out this tire.
Yeah. And like you say, now you've got a ton of work ahead of you. You got to get, it's an aluminum frame on that particular
Right.
trailer.
So I'm not welding that.
Yeah, you're not welding that. And you've got all the hassle of the salt shields that are in the way and the weight and the,
Yeah.
and I mean, let's face it, we need to have these salt shields and or enclosures. I'm using an enclosed trailer because, it just, my snowmobiles look like brand new because they're never exposed to the elements, which is really good. So we spent a little bit of time talking about trailers. I think everyone's getting the message on what to do with trailers. And honestly, you guys, you want a successful day out of riding, not repairing.
Yeah.
Whether it's your snowmobile or your trailer.
Just
So
shut down my whole weekend.
yeah, absolutely. So Steve, we often talk about product. What do you got for us today?
Injection oil.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Everybody's always asking, I see it all the time, like, what kind of oil should I run? There's a million different brands, and they're probably all fine.
What you got here?
I got iPone racing oil, which is not really racing oil, but iPone synthetic. Smells like strawberries. Love this stuff, just because when you run it in your shop, it doesn't smell bad. If you're following a snowmobile using it, it smells great.
Right.
And just for that alone, I've run it in most of my sleds, to be honest
Okay.
with you. And then just some Torco synthetic again. Just because it's something a little less expensive to keep in stock.
Right.
And then I also keep Torco semi-synthetic,
Okay.
just in case guys want to use that too.
So let's talk about synthetic oils. Like, where should we be using them these days?
I think almost any newer snowmobile you'd run synthetic.
Okay.
Guys seem to say it keeps the exhaust valves cleaner and runs cleaner in the motors and whatnot. The older sleds were mineral oil. I ran mineral oil for years, even with the rave valves coming out, never had issues with it whatsoever.
Right.
But synthetic's just way more common. So if you're at a gas station and you need some oil, you're probably going to find synthetic.
Right.
The other thing is, guys will say you have to run this oil and never anything but this oil, brand loyalty too, right?
There's a certain amount of that, for
I
sure.
used to be loyal to always running Bombardier oil until we started doing great big long rides where I would need to buy oil at gas stations. And then I just buy whatever was available. And so I had like a big mix of oils in my tank all the time, never had issues, and learned it's not really all that critical to stick to a brand.
Well, no, I get it. And I get the manufacturers especially want you to buy their brand from their parts department.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, the bulk of this oil is all made in the same plant. It's private labeled and dyed specifically for the manufacturers so that you get either purple, yellow, green, whatever colors that they want to have.
Right.
And it's all made in the same place. So essentially it's the same thing. If you look at the back of them, what is it, the TC3 or something like that they have on there? Like you say, someone might add a scent
Oh yeah.
to create their own appearance or smell. And that's fine, but essentially it's exactly the same stuff, no matter where you're buying it. But if it's synthetic, I agree with you, it runs cleaner, you have less issues, and it's probably just the right thing to do.
What oil do you run?
I'm running synthetic. I don't.
What brand? Anything in particular, or are you just...
I can't even remember off the top of my
There
head.
you go. See, I mean, it's not super critical. I just honestly like iPone because it smells good.
Yeah.
And I love it in my pontoon boat because it's a two-stroke and,
Yeah, it smells nice.
smells nice in the summertime too.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get it.
It's kind of a stupid reason to buy an oil brand, but
Yeah, everyone's got their reasons for what they do, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to mention this. Snowmobilers are probably the last bastion of tinkerers. We're the guys that go out there and we figure it out for ourselves. And if our sled isn't running right, we start taking it apart and trying to understand what makes it work and what's broken and why. And often, guys don't want to take sleds to the service department. They just want to buy parts.
yeah.
And Steve, I know at Performance Supply, you sell a bunch of parts. So if people are ever looking for that, to do their own home repairs, to do-it-yourselfers, absolutely, you need parts. Get in touch with Steve over at Performance Supply so that he can take care of these things for you.
Yeah, sure. We've got tons of aftermarket parts available. One of our catalogs is like 1,200 pages. and carbides, windshields, sliders, engine parts.
You name it,
You
right?
name it pretty much. There's not much stuff you have to go OEM necessarily for anymore,
Right.
but occasionally.
And I know once in a while you even dig up used parts
Try
for
to get-
people.
yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
when you can and where you can. I mean, that's always a bit of a, you know, a bit of a chase
Yep.
to see what you can find. But that's the way it goes.
Absolutely.
Right on. Well, you know what? Thanks for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed the show as much as we have. Remember, snowmobiling is all about performance, Steve. And Performance Supply is all about ensuring great snowmobiling seasons.
Right on.
We want to get out there and ride. We appreciate you checking us out again today. Remember to hit the likes and subscribes, and we will see you soon.
It's almost quad season too.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.